Our target was just, let's see if we can raise $5,000 and buy some toys for these kids. We did that, and we ended up raising those $5,000 within 3 or 4 days, actually. So we were like, oh my God, if we actually took this and ran with it, we could really make it go places, because it's not just us that believe in the cause, it's everybody. And we saw that, and that's kind of what started the organization.
This is Journey to Point B, where you can find success stories of people who have achieved the same goals you're striving for. I'm your host, Lucia, Csoma, and it's my hope that these stories will provide motivation for your own journey to Point B. Welcome to Journey to Point B. I'm so glad that I have the opportunity to have you on the show.
Glad to have the opportunity to. Excited to kind of discuss what we have planned.
Just for the people that don't know you, what are 3 things that you can share that would help us know you a little bit better?
So one would be that I'm a student. I'm a high school student living in North Texas. And so as you can imagine, that eats up most of my time. The second thing is that I'm really passionate, interested, whatever you want to call it, about helping kids, right? And I either do that, through tutoring at school, or, just different initiatives that I've gotten the chance to be a part of. That's something that really motivates me. And that's something that's been important to me. And I guess the third thing would be, I love the holiday season, and I know that we have that coming up. So I'm just kind of excited for that. I don't know how much that contributes, but that's something that I get ramped up about.
And talking about the holiday season, I know that what the goal that we're going to talk about with you today is what you have accomplished through Toys for Texans, which is an organization that provides toys and support for underprivileged kids and underprivileged families around Texas. And you have done some amazing things in the past 2 years since you co-founded it. You impacted at least 8,000 kids, and you have raised more than $200,000. So I was wondering, Mitul, if you can take us back to the beginning of the journey and tell us what was the motivation? How did you start on creating Toys for Texas?
Yeah, so I think as kids, we just realized how important toys were, or at least how much toys really kind of fit with kids and with the holiday season. Like those were just 3 things that really went together, right? And for us, being fortunate enough to go to a school where most kids got presents every Christmas, that was, I feel like, a really big part of our lives, right? Just growing up in that kind of environment. And when we visited different parts of the state, Dallas in particular, because we're closest to Dallas, we realized that there were a lot of kids who maybe weren't impoverished, by the kind of technical definition of that, but who weren't getting any sort of presents or any sort of novelties, if you could call them that, for Christmas. And to us, that kind of just didn't sit right. So what we did is that, starting with the kind of November, December holiday season of 2021, we raised money. And essentially our target was just, let's see if we can raise $5,000 and buy some toys for these kids, right? So we did that. And we ended up raising those $5,000 within 3 or 4 days, actually. So we were like, oh my God, if we actually took this and ran with it, we could really make it go places, because it's not just us that believe in the cause, it's everybody, right? And we saw that, and that's kind of what started the organization to kind of start with.
And who is we, Mitul?
So we is me and 2 of my friends. So they're also high school juniors. we all actually had biology together, and we make jokes all the time that if we didn't have that one class together, it was eighth period biology, freshman year of high school, this entire organization wouldn't have gotten up off the ground. And I think that that's true, because when we kind of started the organization, my friends' names are Carson and Piyush, for anyone who's wanting to know. Uh, we really kind of depended on that team dynamic to push us forward, right? And having that kind of time every day to kind of meet with each other and just update each other on, okay, this is the progress that we made. This is what we've been able to do. These are the different kind of places that we've reached out to, trying to set up toy drives or book drives. That was super, super helpful to us. So again, it's me, it's my friend Carson, and my other friend Piyush. That kind of
So
started
when
it.
you guys started having this idea and you were thinking about the $5,000, and I assume that seemed like a
Mm-hmm.
big goal, how were you envisioning
Mm-hmm.
this will play out? How would you go about it if that $5,000 would have happened, like just as you were dreaming about this goal?
Yeah, I think when we started looking at like the $5,000 in terms of like an actual kind of monetary pool to pull from for toys, the first thing that came to mind was actually just Target, because we didn't really know that wholesale like existed back
Mm.
then. So we were thinking, oh, we'll just go to Target and buy $5,000 in toys, which is what we did. I mean, they were good quality toys, all brand new. But I think that just kind of shows that we thought $5,000 was way kind of out of our ability to do, right? And when we started, we kind of started our GoFundMe 2 to 3 weeks before Christmas, right? Because we were thinking, okay, we need that kind of time to fundraise from our family, from friends at school, all that. We didn't realize that it was going to come together in less than a week, which it did. And then once we saw that, I think that really is what sparked us to start looking at Toys for Texans as potentially an organization instead of just a one-off kind of collection drive.
Mhm. And in the first collection drive,
Hmm?
where were you hoping to distribute this? So, what was the plan?
Right. So for distribution, we were thinking a local kind of homeless shelter. So homeless shelters have been something that we've been working with ever since we started, but that kind of first homeless shelter that we knew about and kind of started it for us was the local Samaritan Inn, right? And so they have different programs for not just homeless kids, but victims of harassment, abuse. But the main thing for us is that they had direct access to kids, right? So what we did is once we got that $5,000 in toys, we essentially delivered those to them. And then we tried to kind of evaluate how much impact is this actually going to have on kids' lives, right? Whereas, some kind of programs are direct distribution straight to the kids. This was kind of through another charity, right? So we tried to consider that when we were making our decision. But I think when we kind of started off with the first drive, we were thinking less about the distribution, to be completely honest, and more just about the goal of the 5,000 and the toys that we were going to
Mhm.
buy.
Where is the
Mhm.
organization today?
Yeah, so since 2021, we have grown tremendously, not just because of our efforts as kind of like a board, as a leadership team, but really because of our volunteers. Like they've taken up the torch better than uh, we'd ever hoped for, really. They've, found other friends that are interested in the cause. They've found companies willing to partner with us, businesses willing to host drives for us. They've done a lot for us, and a lot for the kids. So that was a really pleasant surprise for us as well. We've been able to get to about $230,000 uh, in items, books, toys collected. And we've been able to impact about 8,000 kids in the DFW area, but also across the state. And we've also, on top of that, reached out to about 400 families. So those are all kind of specifically low income families that we worked with directly to kind of get toys that match their kids' specific needs. And that was kind of our program last Christmas that we're hoping to replicate this December as we kind of move closer.
That's wonderful. I assume you have many stories of the impact of providing these toys to kids. What is one story that stayed with you?
So I'm thinking back to one of the kind of earlier programs that we had. I say earlier, it was actually this June, and that seems like super early to us because we've grown so much just since then, right? But one thing that we did over the summer is what we called our Little Libraries program. So along with the toys that we collect, we also get books donated to us sometime, and we built up a real library almost of books. It was crazy how much we had in storage, and so we were thinking, okay, how do we get these out to kids, right? And we talked to a girl. Her name was Tiana, and what she said was, we have kids wanting to read, right? Like we want to read books. It's just, especially, inner city Fort Worth, inner city Dallas, public libraries sometimes are not just inaccessible, right? But they can be far away from some of these less affluent communities, right? If you think about Dallas Public Library, it's closer to the center of town, right? That in and of itself is a relatively kind of affluent district within the city, right? So for people living on the south side or near Oak Cliff, accessing those kind of places is really hard, especially just to check out books. And so what we kind of took away from that, from Tiana, is okay, let's go ahead and install book stalls or little
Mm-hmm.
libraries in different communities where kids can access those books without having to necessarily get a library card with kind
Mm-hmm.
of all of the different
Mm-hmm.
regulations around that. And then also having to travel sometimes 5-10 miles and back just to get books from the library. And I think that interaction, the one with Tiana, really stuck out to me, just because sometimes people who run kind of charity programs kind of feel like they've got it in the bag, like they don't need to really consult the people that they're trying to help. Um, we try not to take that approach because a lot of these kids that we're donating to, or the families that we're donating to, they know what they want. They're smart. Just because we're donating to them doesn't mean they need sympathy from us,
Mm-hmm.
right? They know what they need from us, and they can work with us to make sure that we can help them, right? So it was just really special to me to be able to talk to someone that was kind of part of groups that we impacted and pull an idea from her and then implement
Mm-hmm.
that.
This, for some reason, reminds me of how important is customer care, like listen to the customers. And I think it's so important and wonderful what you did to listen to them, not just assume what's the support that they need, but listen to them, enabled you to be able to help them more, and also start this new program with
Mhm.
libraries.
Right, and with toys too, it really helps to kind of work with the families to ask parents, okay, what do your kids actually want, right?
Yes.
And at the very least, we have to survey, whether parents have, two boys, two girls, a boy and a girl, an infant and a teenager. We have to know those things to actually match the right toy with the right kid. So consulting people that we donate to is a core part of our business. We've never really thought about the work that we do in any other way. And we've been able to kind of go far with that kind of model.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mitul, what were some of the major stepping stones that Toys for Texans
Mhm.
had to go through, or you guys as a team had to go through in order to get to where you are today?
So a lot of what we've struggled with is kind of just name brand recognition. And I think that that's something that a lot of different organizations struggle with. But our path was thankfully relatively, it was pretty straightforward. It was just hard, right? It was uphill because we knew what we had to do, right? We had to reach out to more places. We had to get more drives in place. We had to collect more toys. We needed to set up, larger distribution. And we had avenues figured out for all of that within 2 to 3 months, right? The kind of problem solving side of things for us wasn't as challenging as it is for some other organizations. The main thing that we ran into is a roadblock with how much time, first of all, as students we could put in, and then also how many other students, how many other volunteers, whether they be in college or in high school with us, we could really galvanize to support our cause. Because especially when you don't have money to offer people or a job to give people that's paid, labor becomes a big problem, right? And for us, you know, once we started growing in terms of the amount of places we were reaching out to and the number of drives we were setting up, we were kind of stuck up on the, say, like inventory side of things, where we didn't have enough boxes to go out to all of our different locations. We didn't have enough drivers to take those boxes and get them put in place. And we just had to kind of deal with that, right? And the issue that we saw, and luckily we were able to avoid, was when you ask someone to set up a drive or raise money on your behalf, and then you're not able to accept it, or you're not able to do something meaningful with it, then they lose faith in you, right? And we didn't want to reach out to all of the different businesses in our town like we did, and then not be able to give them a tangible product or at least a report at the end saying, this is what your efforts did. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for us, right? So kind of just getting that volunteer capacity built up, given all of the other things that were going on in our lives, I'd say was the biggest thing that we had to kind of overcome.
And what
Mhm.
supported you the most in overcoming that?
I think really at the end of the day, it was just us committing to the cause, right? And when I say us, I mean mostly me, Piyush, and Carson, right? Kind of the people who were leading everything, because we knew that if we worked hard enough, right, we could find the help that we needed. We knew that we could grow our communications team and reach out to more places. We could grow our kind of driving team, as we call it, and get more boxes in place, and get more kind of collection drives going. It was just a matter of the amount of work that we were willing to put in, right? And that, again, that was kind of hard for us last year as we kind of got busier with exams and all that closer to the end of the year. But we kind of just kept pushing, and it's been able to get us far, thankfully.
What would you say
Mhm.
are some opportunities or one opportunity that you guys had to create for the organization to bring it to where it is today?
One of the opportunities that we've really kind of taken advantage of, I'd say, is networking. And for us, that was an issue because some of the bigger roundtables, right, or like the charity events, didn't really send us an invite, right? We weren't on the map, especially when we started. And so what we had to do to get around that is we just had to table at places like, Dallas's Fair, or kind of Dallas's back to school bash, or whatever the city of Dallas or the city of Fort Worth or the different suburbs were offering, just so that we could meet those people, right? And just so we could get drives set up with places like organizations like United Way, or some of the bigger kind of event venues around DFW. Right, we had to go out and we had to seek out those opportunities, and we had to create them by kind of making ourselves present and available at whatever was going on around the Metroplex, because we weren't really getting invited to those on our own, right? It was on us to kind of take that initiative.
Yeah, you created a place at the table for yourself. What is a lesson that you learn through this process that you do not want to relearn?
I think the biggest thing is that whenever any group of friends, right, like me, Carson, and Piyush say, right, enter into a dealing or some sort of venture together, you're gonna test your friendship more than you'd like to. I feel like not enough people understand that sometimes, especially business partners, because when you see a really talented friend of yours and you think, oh, we could do this together, right? I know what I'm doing. She knows what she's doing. We could work together and really bring this organization up, right? People don't recognize a lot of the time how taxing that can be on a genuine friendship, right? Because when you enter into something like this, a lot of things become transactional, right? Am I going to do something or are you going to do it, right? Or if you don't want to do it, can I somehow get out of doing it because I'm busy, but you're busy? So it's all of these kind of different micro interactions that slowly kind of just build up animosity between who you thought was your friend. And that can be a really hard lesson to learn the hard way, right? Because you don't want to lose whoever you're working with as a friend, but at the same time, you want to see the organization or the initiative that you've put together go and do great things, right? So it's just something that we've had to deal with. But I think that in other ways, we've been able to kind of strengthen not just our friendship, but our relationship on a more professional level. So it's kind of like a trade-off there in terms of that.
Yeah, transition from friendship to partnership. If someone, maybe another student that has a bigger vision to help, support, to impact, is considering, but they are hesitant to start on this journey, if you were to tell them some words of encouragement, what would that be?
I'd say just commit to finding and really understanding what you're passionate about, and make sure that that's something that really resonates with you, which, I mean, every kid's capable of, right? You can find what matters to you and you can really capture that and work towards that. But it all starts with step one, right? You need to be able to find what really, kind of gets you up and gets you going, what matters to you, not just on, like an organizational, this is something I'm going to build type level, but just a personal level, something that will very quite genuinely get you out of bed in the morning when you have to go table at an event in the morning, or when you have to go do something late at night for the organization, right? It's all about the idea, and it's about the concept that you're kind of, building yourself and your organization around, right? So my advice or my words of encouragement would just be, don't worry too much about the little details. It's all about your commitment to the idea and what that idea means to you on a personal level.
Yeah, finding the bigger picture, be grounded in your why, and keep that to give you motivation and fuel to reach what you want to reach. Thank you. Mitul, what is something that I didn't ask you, but you would love to share about Toys for Texans?
So we're actually in the middle of our December kind of holiday season drive right now. And what that is that it's a culmination of all of our programs throughout the year, right? So kind of all of the toys and books and different items we collect, we package into presents and we deliver to kids, again, mostly in DFW, but across the state, really. And, that program in particular means a lot to us. We found that it means a lot to the community too, because when parents are given the chance to actually talk to their kids, what do you want for Christmas, right? What do you want to read? What do you want to play with, right? And they're able to get that information to us, and we're able to deliver that, on Christmas Eve. It very much is, a magical holiday moment for a lot of these kids, and it's been that way for us. So for anyone who's watching, Ms. Kasoma is going to link a little bit more information in the description. So if you guys would like to just check that out and donate either monetarily or schedule like an item pickup, we can come to your location in most cases and pick up toys if you're okay with that. That would be super helpful to us and the kids that we serve. So that would be my main thing, just our Christmas program and what that means to us and to the community.
What is a goal? Like, do you have a goal in mind in terms of how many kids you want to impact this Christmas, or what monetary amount you would like to raise for this Christmas?
Yeah, so we're looking to impact about 4,000 kids, give or take. So that's a big jump actually from last year for us, because last year we had about 400 families that we impacted, right? And now we're moving to 4,000 kids, and so is going to be a big jump for us. We have a lot bigger of a venue. We've been able to thankfully collect a lot more, but it's logistically kind of been a challenge for us. But more than anything, I think we're looking forward to the opportunity to really engage with 4,000 kids on such a personal level.
And I will have that information in the description. So for everyone that would like to help Mitul and his team and Toys for Texans, please read the description and see in what ways you would like to help support this wonderful mission. Thank you, Mitul, for telling us about the wonderful things that you're doing at Toys for Texans. I honor your desire, your and your friends' desires to help kids that maybe they're not as blessed as others to have on under their Christmas trees what they have desired. So I assume that for some of them, it is the first time ever that they would get under the Christmas tree exactly what they desired. And it's such a special moment to experience that at least one time a year, and makes Christmas such a magical holiday. Thank you for sharing that. And
For sure.
all the best in your efforts. I hope that listeners are gonna support you in this journey.
For sure. Thank you for having me. And thanks for the kind of opportunity just to share what we've been doing. It's something that's been really personal to us ever since we started 2 years ago. So we're hoping that you guys kind of touched by what we're trying to do and can come out and support
Yes,
if
let's do
possible.
it.
Let's do it.
I hope this episode gave you some inspiration for reaching your goals. If you found it useful, please hit the subscribe button. This will help me bring you more inspirational stories to support your own journey to point B. Thank you.